start with our Australian colleagues. Gentlemen,
Hi, good morning everyone. Good morning. Oh, that's pathetic. My title is Sir, and you will address me as that. Sit up straight. You should have learnt this lesson last night. Just sit up straight. Good morning everyone.
Good morning.
Much better. I'd like to introduce you to my two fine looking ladies who are accompanying me this morning. Say good morning to Mum.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Say good morning to the other Mum.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. I'd like to just first of all, before I start our presentation for the Symposium in Australia in 2015, to thank Branko very much for his changing the program so that we could do this morning. I know it's very difficult to change programs when they are set in place, but Uwe did raise the issue that some of you might not have been here tomorrow morning. So it was wonderful of Branko to change that. So thank you very much, Branko. We appreciate that very much. We also have a presentation from our CEO of the Museum of the Sovereign Hills Museum in Australia, and I'd like to play that for you now. He has filmed a welcome for you, and that will show you our museum, and also we can listen to Jeremy Johnson, who is the CEO of our museum.
DVDs 100 years before.
Sometimes we live in the future as well as the past.
Jeremy Johnson, Chief Executive Officer, Sovereign Hill Museums Association in Ballarat, Australia. I'm delighted to welcome you to visit us at the 2015 conference of the International Network of School Heritage. The Sovereign Hill School, whose principal, Michael Ward, is with you today, is unique in Australia. While the school is located within the Sovereign Hill Outdoor Museum, it's run by the Victorian Department of Education and Early Childhood Development. Formal education outcomes are delivered, but the learning opportunities are quite different to conventional schools. One of the most popular choices is the Costume School program, a 2-day role-play experience. Children suddenly find themselves living in the 1850s, learning about the manners, dress, behaviour and the discipline of school life on the goldfields during Australia's great gold rush. Students interact with costumed adult characters and quickly learn the differences between how children were treated in the 1850s and their lifestyles today. There's a lot of role play which contributes to strong, effective learning. Many of the Sovereign Hill resources add great value to our education programs from prep to tertiary students. For example, the Gold Corps, Gold Bank, the Gold Museum and underground mine tours all give students a real immersion in study areas including Australian history, the Industrial Revolution, science and interpersonal development. These school programs are highly sought after and many are booked out a year in advance. So, we hope you'll come and join us at school on the goldfields here at Sovereign Hill in 2015. See you there.
That's just an introduction from Jeremy. I'd like to introduce Linda Borner, who is one of the teachers in one of our schools, which we have 4, to talk about just Sovereign Hill generally as a museum. Linda.
So when you come, you will see that Sovereign Hill is a living museum. So we say where history comes to life. As you saw, Sovereign Hill is a very large site. We are around 25 hectares. That's how big the site is. So the majority of that is taken up with the museum, and then at the back half we have a site especially dedicated to Blood on the Southern Cross, which is a sound and light show that visitors come and see at night time, depicting the story of Eureka, the rebellion that happened in Ballarat. We have around 300 costumed staff, not all in costume, but 300 staff, mostly in costume, and again around 300 volunteers. Our volunteer base is very, very strong. And again, they are all in costume, and they sort of do 2 or 3 days a week, whatever they can manage. But when you come, people will talk to you. Good day to you, sir. Good day to you, ma'am. And it's very, very interactive. We have a working blacksmith, working wheelwrights. They make carriages for places all over the world and carriage wheels. Underground mine tours. There are 4 underground mine tours that you can do. There's a steam operation, a bowling alley, lots of different shops, bakers, a candlestick maker. Have a look at the website is my suggestion to you, because it is many and varied things that you can do at Sovereign Hill. But mostly I think you'll find it interesting for the interaction that we share. Anything else I should add?
And I'd just like to introduce Anne Campbell, who is the School Council President of our school, to talk briefly about the school within the museum. That's us up on the top right-hand corner of the costume school. That's the most important part of the whole museum.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you again for the opportunity to be here and speak to you. We're very excited to welcome you to Australia in 2015 to Ballarat. My role as School Council President, we're a governance board of the 4 schools within Sovereign Hill. As Jeremy said on the DVD, we are part of the Victorian education system, so there are rules and expectations that we must reach for us, as our staff, and also for the students, of course, so that their outcomes are delivered and are met. There are 4 schools, as we said, covering a range of activities. We have what we call a ragged school, which they have. Everything has been researched the way the schools are set up. So the ragged school was for the poorer children in those days. We have a church school, we have 2 government schools. They all operate under the umbrella of the Victorian Education Department. It's just that the children, as you saw, wear costumes and play games and are spoken to in the way that they would have been in the 1850s. So it's very dynamic. As a school principal myself, the children from my school all went there in grade 5 for 2 days. It's a full 2-day program, so it's quite intense. And they absolutely love it. And one year I asked all the children graduating from my school what was some of the highlights of their time at school. Every child said their time at Sovereign Hill. So it really does have an impact on our children, and we're very proud of that. And we'd love you to see that and experience it when you come. And we promise not to hit you with the camera.
But you will play the role. Matthias. Look, cost, we realise that it's a great distance between Europe and Australia, and the cost is a real factor, and we're very aware of that, and we're trying our best to make sure that we make all the costs when you arrive at Sovereign Hill inclusive of the conference fee. Accommodation, we can put people up within the museum. They have their own accommodation, 250 beds for children, but they also have motel type accommodation, which I can offer to you at €140 twin share with full breakfast, which is quite reasonable. And I've spoken to the accommodation manager about that, and that's a sorted cost. Look, the cost of the conference we estimate will cost about €40,000 for us to run. We plan to raise or contribute half of that amount ourselves, either through sponsorship or which we're pursuing at the moment, so that we'll be able to keep the cost to delegates to around €200, which will include all your meals, all your excursions while you're with us for the 3 days. It won't include your accommodation. If you're going to come, I would recommend, because it's a long flight, that you have a stopover, and there are some really good deals you can get with airlines stopping over either in Hong Kong, Dubai or Singapore, and that does break the trip up, because I can assure you 21, 22, 23 hours on a plane is a long time, and it gets worse as you get older. So look, we would love you all to come, or as many of you come as possible. We promise we will give you an experience that is different to anything you've ever experienced before in a museum, because we pride ourselves on our interactivity with all the visitors. We get lots of visitors who come from Europe, they see our schools and they're absolutely fascinated that we can do role play for 2 days, and how well the children adapt to that and how much they learn from it. So please come and see us. You're most welcome. We are very honoured to be the first country outside Europe to be chosen to host this symposium, and we intend to make it as good as we possibly can. That's why we've had all this gear sent all the way over to Europe. And we've also got some presents for you with a packet of goodies from our city of Ballarat, which is in Victoria, Australia. If you want to Google that, you'll see where we are. In our present world, we often talk about that, and we have a welcome from the Mayor of Ballarat and a lot of other little goodies in there for you. And if anyone wants to ask any questions over the next 2 days while we're here, please feel free. Yes, Dominic?
Michael, do you have any idea when?
Yes, March 18th to 21st. March 18th to 21st.
The weather will be nice.
2015. The reason we've chosen March as opposed to June is you don't want to come to our winter. So you're much better off coming to our early autumn. The weather will be beautiful, and you'll be able to escape your winter to come to our autumn. So that's why the change of time during the year.
Everything that's on will be within, at the conference we're organising it so that everything that you do will be within Sovereign Hill. If we do plan an activity outside of Sovereign Hill, we have organised, and that will be part of, there will be no additional cost. We will take you in buses. If we do take you to other places within
The
Ballarat.
local school, one of the teachers is on our school council. He's offered the school buses for us, free of charge. So that's good for you. Yes, Walter. Which caricature do you think I am, Walter?
The tyrant.
The tyrant? I hope so.
If you think about the subject, the thema,
We had a general topic of, and we've got a DVD in there for everyone, which is a short film of Sovereign Hill itself, and on the cover there, I think we put it through history through learning, and we want to try and base it on an interactive approach to learning. We will include in the conference you going out to see the schools in operation.
Yes, that's very
And
important.
4 lucky delegates will be chosen to dress in costume and attend the school for the whole day. So they'll get out of the lectures, they'll have to go to school for the day.
Just like
And they will have a role.
teacher would.
They will have a role in the school and attend in costume for the whole day.
We will help you, don't worry.
Learning through history is the title of our conference, so that will be the theme for our keynote.
So it's a fairly general sort of theme so that people can be creative as they like.
there will be lectures like here.
There will be lectures like this,
Some.
and also we want to use the things in the museum as well. So as well as lectures, there will be
Yes.
times where we'll go out into the museum, look at the schools in operation, look at some of the other things around the museum as well.
Maybe some open topic discussion.
Yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
Yeah, but does that mean that you will also invite the people who are coming
Yes.
to contribute
Yes.
Yes.
It'll be the same process where there'll be a call for
Yes.
abstracts,
Yeah.
and I'll
Yeah.
get the list off Branko of all the participants of this symposium, and the same sort of thing. We'll email out asking people to submit abstracts. It'll be the same process. If all, thank you very much. We'll go and get changed early.